Welcome to Reading Corner. For Women's History Month, we're going to be learning about a woman whose name is Maya Lin, and she uses art and math as an architect. She entered a contest to build a memorial. A memorial is something that helps us remember an important place or an important time or maybe an important person. So let's read this story and see how she uses her creativity and her skills as an architect to build this memorial. Maya Lin, artist, architect of light and lines. In the woods by her childhood home, Maya Lin played with her brother and explored and climbed the many rolling hills. One she named the Lizard's Back, because I think it looks like a lizard. On long walks alone, she searched for birds in the forest. Maya sat still as a statue, hoping to tame rabbits, raccoons, chipmunks, and squirrels. If you're taming an animal, you're trying to make it like a pet. She wants to make the animals her pets, her friends. In her house full of light and open spaces, Maya read books and played chess with her brother. And with paper and scraps, she built tiny towns. Her parents had fled China at a time when people were told what to be and how to think. Her parents never told Maya what to be or how to think. Maya grew up with art. Her father was an artist who made art with clay. Her mother was a poet who made art with words. She watched her father form a pot from a mound of clay without plans or drawings. Maya, too, thought with her hands as well as her mind. One day, when Maya looked at the patterns of light and lines on the ceiling of her college library, she imagined she would become an architect who created buildings with art, science, and math. While studying overseas, so that means not in her country, Maya wandered through countries and cities, gazing at buildings of all types, new and old, learning all that she could. So she traveled away from America for her studies, and she's studying all the buildings that she's seeing. In her last year of college, Maya entered a contest to design a memorial to honor soldiers who died during the Vietnam War. The contest rules said the memorial must blend with a park setting and include the name of every soldier who died fighting or was missing. Almost 58,000 names. That's a lot of names. These rules rang true to Maya. She knew the power of names. Maya believed that a name brings back all the memories of a person, more than a photo of a moment in time. And what you're seeing down here, this is what it might have looked like in Vietnam during the war. And these are some illustrations of soldiers who would have fought. And these are their helicopters. In the glow of the autumn sun, Maya walked across a field dotted with trees, the site of the future memorial. Through her camera's eyes, she imagined a knife slicing open the earth. In her mind, she saw the cut in the earth, healing over time to a polished edge, covered from top to bottom with names, an edge that reflected sky and grass and the people who visited the memorial. Back at school, Maya sculpted a model with mashed potatoes, then with clay. She sketched a soft space of greens and blues, and before mailing her entry, she put her thoughts into an essay. She wrote that her long, polished wall would be a quiet place to remember all those who died during the war, a place to be experienced by walking down, then up past names that seemed to go on forever. The contest received so many entries, enough to fill an airplane hangar. Lots of famous architects and artists entered. The names of the contestants were hidden from view, so they didn't know whose idea was whose. They just were looking at all the ideas and trying to pick the best one. Out of the 1,424 entries, Maya's design was chosen. Simple yet strong, creative and new. But when they found out that Maya was the winner, The judges were shocked. She wasn't famous. She was a young woman, still in school. Maya was just as surprised as the judges. All was excitement at first, but then people objected. Some said her design looked like a bat, a boomerang, a black gash of shame. Their angry words stung Maya for months. Public hearings were held. Some people wanted to change the design. Maya was young, but she was brave. She didn't back down. Finally, her design was approved. Maya worked with a team of architects and engineers who devised plans to excavate the land, build the wall. And here we are with the excavator, and this is lifting the granite. The granite was cut, polished, and engraved with the soldiers' names. The earth was dug up. Maya watched the panels suspended in space, set in place. Here she is with her hard hat on. The first time Maya visited the finished wall, she searched for the name of the father of a friend. When she touched the name, she cried, just as she knew others would. Thousands came that Veterans Day to see and touch and remember. Salutes, hands on hearts, honoring, and every day since then, visitors have done the same. The Vietnam Veterans Memorial was the first of Maya's many works of art and architecture, memorials, sculptures, structures, and spaces inside and out. Each piece is different, but all share Maya's vision. She wants people to be a part of her art, to look, touch, read, walk around, sit by, think about. And just like when she was a child who named a hill the lizard's back, Maya names her projects, often words from nature. Names such as Sounding Stones, Topo, the Wave Field, 10 degrees north, reading a garden. And after naming a piece, the final step in shaping her artwork, Maya Lin, the artist architect, is ready to dream, think again, and create something new. And here is a picture of Maya Lin holding a replica of her memorial. It's a model, sorry, not a replica, a model of her memorial. And you can see she's very excited about it. That is a great story about Maya Lin, a true story about a woman who was brave. She might have been young or she might not have been famous like others, but she continued to try her best, and she created that wonderful memorial in Washington, D.C. And we're gonna try our hand at building today and following some directions with some blocks. Let me show you. Ask a grown-up or someone to help you create some patterns of blocks that you can practice building and following directions. And you can also get creative and make your own towers and be inspired by the book that we read about Maya. So I'm gonna start with green here. So I got green, and then I'm gonna add on top of it a blue. What comes next? Red, orange, and then I have 2 blues. So I'm taking my time to follow these directions. 2 blues, and finally top it off with a yellow. Look at that. I built a tower and I followed those directions. This time we can start from the top down if you want. So let's start with red, and then let's do a pink. What comes next? Yellow, orange, and the last one, yellow again. Look at that tower. That looks great. All right, we got our last one here. Let's start from the bottom and build up. We start with, let's try to do a few in a row this time. Let's try to do yellow, blue, yellow. Let's do it. Yellow, blue, yellow. Okay, got it. Now we're gonna do 3 more in a row. White, white, white. Oh, that's so easy. I can do that. And the final one for the top of this tower is red. Great job building those towers and following directions. That was a lot of fun using our blocks to build towers, and I hope you get creative at home and are inspired by this architect Maya Lynn to build your own creative block towers. And when you're out and about in your city, in your town, looking at all the houses and the buildings, look around and remember that someone created that. Someone drew that on a piece of paper and then worked with engineers and other architects to bring it to life and make it beautiful. Thank you for sharing this story with me for Women's History Month about Maya Lin. I'll see you next time.